Sorry. Hello.
Hello. Yeah, wait. I'm supposed to say hello, everybody. Anushka, say hi.
Hi.
We're laughing because we started the call and Anushka was saying something, and I don't know. She sent me a message, and I was also lost because my face was pink. Okay, and I'm trying to figure out why it's pink. I'm like, is there something on my screen? I'm like, is my brightness low? Is there something nearby that is? I have a red mug, and I'm thinking, oh, is there red light reflecting onto my face? And I'm like, no, wait, it's her light that is red.
But it's so cool that you can. Sorry, you can see it's pink,
Yes,
right?
yes, I can.
It was a very annoying bright lamp. Wait, I will show you. So it's a very annoying bright lamp, and I put a pink sock on it.
Oh my God.
It was it was freaking my senses out. So I put a and I couldn't find anything else to put on it. So I put a pink sock on it. So my light changes color with the sock I put on it.
That's one of the craziest, like, DIY things. Hey guys, like Instagram reel they'll make, and like, hey, this is a hack that you can do at home to get like attractive lights.
If
Red
your light is hurting your eye, put a sock on it.
sock on it.
Any color you want.
You can monetize this, make a brand that actually just makes socks to go on lights.
That would be
Okay.
so cool if
Yeah,
the
and then
fluorescent sock.
yeah, your tagline will be put a sock on it.
It's just so wrong.
It sounds wrong, but like the
Also,
marketing is there.
the way they use socks on doorknobs, I don't know if the tagline will be understood for lamps.
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. Oh, you know what? That's fair. That's fair. Um, yeah, we should put a sock on it. Your room also looks so different from the other. Wait, is this? Yeah, this is on the other side where you sit. You're
Because
sitting on
I've
your bed.
always been on the bed.
Yes.
Today I
Yes.
decided to stay out of the bed for the call.
Yeah.
Only
Yeah.
for the podcast, I made this
Only for a
sacrifice.
podcast. This, you sitting there with this sort of a light setup, plus you have like a window where you can see outside buildings and some color and all is there. It feels like you're in one of those, sci-fi movies, man.
Yeah.
Like the protagonist is in their own house, outside like full darkness, and there are a bunch of spooky buildings, lights are flickering.
Yeah,
You
there was
have
a firework reflection that you could
there's
see.
like pink lights in your room, like that's very future sci-fi kind of shit. Not regular day. Oh wow. Cool. I'm talking to a sci-fi Anushka.
Do you know what I found? I found out today. So there was this building in front of my window that was getting built for quite a bit, and now
Hmm.
they've like it doesn't come up till my floor. Like it does blocks part of my view, but they have put like reflective glass underneath. It's supposed to
Hmm.
be like a mall, so it
Hmm.
has like reflective glass under my floor, and
Hmm.
I would always see people under my floor who face the building. I could see in their apartments through the reflection. So
Oh
sometimes I would
God.
just sit at my
Oh.
window and look at people's houses because I can see them. I look out
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
window,
yeah.
I see it.
Yeah,
I was
it's there. You
like,
can't help it.
and I was like, my apartment's too high up. Nobody can probably see in
Hmm.
my room.
Hmm.
Today I was walking down in the street and I could see my apartment. And the only reason why I spotted and I realized, wait, that's my room was because of the sticky notes. I was like, that's cool. Someone else
Oh.
also the sticky notes on it. And then I looked closely and I was like, people
Oh.
on the streets can see my room.
That is, oh my God, that is so interesting. Yeah.
And
I
it's
have,
not that, like, it's not even like if they're looking up, because it's a pretty narrow street, so they don't,
Mhm.
if they're walking a bit further away and looking at the mall, they can see my room. Like, if I
Like they can
stand
see you
at the
walking
window,
around.
what?
They can see you walking around in your room.
Yeah, if I walk close to the window, of course not if I walk a bit further, but
Hmm?
even during the day, like, because I was down during the day, I could see everything clearly. And it just hit me. Like, if someone's entering my building too, they can see my room if they want. Not that in
One.
Netherlands, no one cares. People don't put curtains on their houses, like, they
Right,
don't use curtains as much. So,
right.
but it was, I didn't realize that people could see me.
No. But this is interesting because I have never been. Have you ever been in this sort of a situation where people can look into your house? Or is this the
Yeah.
first time ever?
N- n- No, like, brain, sorry. I like my assumption would be like if there's no one across me, then nobody can see me. Like there's no one
True.
living across me.
True. You don't consider that people walking down can see.
Yeah, because there's no space to walk right in front of my house, so you can't look
Mm.
up. But if you're walking on the opposite side and
Mm.
look at the wall, then you can see my house. But in India, yes, because in Pune we lived in a like it's a building, so it's a
Mm.
society. Society
Mm.
have you can see
Mm.
all the time. So I always this was the first like I think this is one of the few houses I've lived where I keep my curtains open like throughout the day because I was so
Mm.
comfortable. I was like, no one can see me, no one
Oh, okay.
can see. Now I know.
Now you know. Now the curtains are going to be closed every day.
Depends. Like as long as I'm fully clothed, I don't really mind.
So here, now that I'm thinking about this, in the house that I grew up, we had like very closed like windows. There were windows, but like no one can see anything. Even like the people on the other side of the road can't see it. That sort of a setup. And people in the road, of course, not in India because we had our independent house. So that's how I was throughout. When I moved out and I came here, my first house in Pittsburgh and my second house there when I moved, both had a similar scenario where I had a window, but it was just like some garden and like nothing is there. Okay. So just like my own thing. No one's walking around in both houses. Here is the first time where there is a sidewalk on the border of my windows, so people can see. It's still difficult because there's like lawn and shit, but people can see. But I sort of like subconsciously close the windows a lot of the time during the day. I just keep them closed. This is one of the reasons I didn't even think about it, but that's why I was doing it. Because I'm like, oh man, I don't want people to look at all because I'm not used to that.
Yeah, I think that's the same like with both my all my houses in India. I always had like sheer curtains or something to,
Hmm.
or I would build sheer curtains, like
Hmm.
put stuff up so you can partially like at least I get light.
Right, good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Light is important.
Yeah, you should get sheer curtains or sheer blinds.
Yeah, these have one of these like sliding curtains or whatever. I'm just using
Then
them.
why should your view spoil just so someone else can get your view? Like
Yeah,
you should
actually, yeah, fair enough. You know what? No, I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep. There is some good news which I'm sort of like in the back of my hand. There's like 5% of me which is getting excited. Uh, in this house lease was supposed to end in a few months, so we were maybe going to move because we thought this place is expensive, and they were going to hike up the rent or something for the next year. And I was sort of disappointed because I didn't put any effort into like making this space even more like more personal. I already did it a little bit, but not enough. Like I didn't commit hard enough. There's nothing on the walls, which is a
yeah.
sign of like low commitment. Okay, thing is on the wall. So it was like that. And then now we're in a situation where we may renew it and continue staying here for another year, which is big incentive for to go more commitment and like glam up
It's
the room
cool.
and
Yeah.
add more things, pet projects here and there. Just
Feel cozy. I think I'm in the opposite state where I have overcommitted to the room. And now
oh
I
no.
don't want to leave. I'm very comfortable and I have to leave.
Mm.
So it's just
Oh no.
ah, take my stuff,
No problem.
Mahesh, please. I
Yeah,
have so much stuff. I have so much artwork that you
dude,
can
I
put.
will take it in a heartbeat. I love it. This is
I can't. I I've been thinking about like I will have to give away my plants, my books, my postcards,
Oh
everything. I can't
no.
take stuff with me, so it just somebody take it. Uh,
Mm.
we'll see. Oh, we should do, you know what we should do? I was thinking maybe we should do like a update segment. You know,
Okay.
like like the remember those news channels with like the 30 seconds
Okay,
news
okay.
sort of
Yeah, yeah.
thing? Maybe
Welcome to
we
the highlights of the today.
can.
First up in the news.
It
We're
just like it doesn't have to be highlights of like today, but since we last met, which I don't
Mhm.
remember
Hmm.
up- what our updates
We
was.
should create a PPT and then be like, hey, I did this, then I did this, and then I can. Oh, you know what? We should take pictures throughout the week of what you do in your week. Okay, and then you
And
can review a week,
yes,
like
that
update
sounds
on a
good.
week or a month.
And we could close by what we're looking for. It feels like therapy session, but what we're looking forward in the week.
It does feel like therapy session. Maybe we needed it.
Definitely need it. Did you listen to Taylor Swift's new album?
Not yet, not yet. I saw what you posted something on Instagram and I just saw it and I was reading the lyric and I didn't see that it was attached to a song. I was just reading it. I'm like, oh my God, that is so profound. I was just gonna respond to you and be like, Anushka, that's great. Like, what you should be a writer, bro. What are you doing? I was gonna write and then I saw, oh shit, it's a Taylor Swift lyric.
It was like with the song, and because the songs are so new that on Instagram you can't get lyrics on it yet. Like when you
Mm,
put music, you
yes,
can't get lyrics
yes.
for it because the songs are so new.
Mm,
So I had to write the lyrics because I was relating a lot to the lyrics. Like
mm,
I was listening to this song called Florida by
mm,
in the Taylor Swift's new album on loop. Like the entire day, I just
mm,
heard that song on loop
mm,
because it, it has this line which says like that little did you know that the like basically the place that you thought was home was you felt home was a town that you were a guest in. And I've
mm,
been feeling that lately because I have to move soon and I feel like a guest in Rotterdam, that my time's gonna be up and I
mm,
have to just work really hard, pay my bills
mm.
here only to move. So yeah, lot of good songs
A lot
in
of
the new.
emotions running throughout the day.
She put 31 songs out. I don't know how. I broke like when I saw the I on Friday I was supposed to work. I didn't work at all because I was going through like I spent my time reading lyrics and going through each song, and I
Mm.
could only get till 16 songs on Friday because it was just a lot.
Imagine you dedicated so much time, and even in a single day, you could only do 15 songs. And this lady is out here making 30,
131.
31.
And I think she put out 31. That means she has at least written 40. You don't put out everything you write.
I don't even know how that's possible. What are these songs even about? Like, how many of these songs do you listen to and go, like, oh my God, that is a lyrically heavy song. I don't know how the hell she came up with it.
Basically, so the album's called the Tortured Poets Department,
Mm,
and it's basically poetry. That's why most of the lyrics are very rhymy.
mm,
Uh, and I actually took pictures of the lyrics as I read them because I was like, what is this woman? Uh, it's like one of the songs called So Long London, and the lyrics I took a picture when I was reading it for the like listening and reading it for the first time was first it goes like, for so long London, stitches undone, two graves, one gun, I will find someone.
oh, wow.
And there was also one lyrics that I was like which went like on a loop. It went like, once I fix me, he's gonna miss me. And it went on loop. Once I fix me,
Mm,
gonna miss me. And I was like, huh, because a lot of people, like, even I would. Like if someone does not want to be friends with me, I will be like, oh, I'm gonna be better, I'm gonna do better, and then they won't they won't
You
friends
take
with
it
me.
personally.
Yes. And uh and then there were so many, like, I don't know what she was. Oof, it was a lot.
It
A
was a
lot of
lot.
a lot of stuff
Taylor
happened.
Swift out here breaking our minds every week. I have
And like,
honestly never listened to an entire Taylor Swift album. I have listened to a few songs here and there, and then never really happens. Are you a person who listens to, like, what is your primary mode of consumption of, like, style of consumption of music? Are you a person who just like listens to random songs here and there, or do you go, oh, I like this band and I'm gonna listen to this album and album at a time? Because people have, like, a lot of people talk about, oh, this is my favorite album, or like, because they listen, they're the way they listen to song is by listening to an album in its entirety.
yeah.
I never do that. Very rarely I listen to an entire album.
Okay, so I think album wise would be like Taylor Swift would be the only one that I think a lot of majority of the people do album wise,
Hmm.
listening to her music, is because what she does is she brands every album as an era, and it's a completely different style of music and songwriting in each album. And she starts
Hmm.
dressing up like the album. So it's like a
Hmm.
different kind of book every single time.
Hmm.
And that's why I think with Taylor Swift, there are like favorite albums because it's the vibe of the albums that's very
Hmm.
different.
Hmm.
It's like, for example, Reputation, her album was very badass, and it was just some really, I don't know what genre it fits into, but it was pretty cool songs.
Hmm.
Uh, and every album has like a different sort of outfits that go with.
Hmm.
That's why when people go to Taylor Swift concerts, they dress up as an album, like as an
Right.
era, because
Right. 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 Yeah.
that album has these set of songs. Like her albums, she released two albums during the lockdown, which
Hmm.
were Folklore and Evermore, I think. And both of them were very like a foresty vibe. So people, if they go in that, they dress very foresty. Reputation was all black and like badass clothes.
Hmm.
Um, I think 1989 was all summery sort of clothes, and
Hmm.
Lover was pink and
Hmm.
nice,
This is
sort of.
interesting. So there is like she's basically through her art creating a cultural movement because people are clearly associating a certain set of features or attributes to be part of this album, but she's not doing it, right? It's the
She is
fandom that
doing
have,
it.
like, is
She
she
is.
she voluntarily intentionally makes a certain theme so that people can follow it.
She makes a theme for, I think she does it for herself. Like she
Hmm.
completely rebrands herself and starts dressing up a certain way, changes her hairstyle,
Hmm.
changes how she does makeup, and
Hmm.
like all of her
Right.
complete look
Right.
and the way she, I don't know,
And
basically
that's
her
the
complete look.
and that's the hint that, hey, this is the new era, and like people
Yes,
catch on to it and start dressing that way, right?
yes. And
So
with
she's
the
nudging
music,
everyone. She's nudging everyone. Hey, we're in on it. So I'm gonna dress this way so that's your cue or a hint to for the next phase.
I feel like I will have to dig deep into it because like I will have to tell you, like, you think this is the only thing.
No, no, no.
She
I know that there's a
No,
lot more. That's why I'm trying
I
to.
have so much to tell you now.
I have read this on Reddit. I've seen this like when other people are talking, or like the common conception of what the Taylor Swift fandom is, right? Is that like they have this whole meta world that is like exists between them, and like all these like code words and stuff that happens in lyrics and hints and like the way theories people
Yeah.
fall. It is
So it's
insane.
it's not just them doing theories. Like people didn't just start doing theories. She
Hmm.
really likes puzzles. So
Yes.
like with her first album, what she did was first album, which was like I think 14 years back or 15
Huh.
years back. She with the lyric thing in CDs you get that booklet,
Right,
no?
right, right.
She started capitalizing random words throughout the album, and you would put them together, and it forms a sentence which hints on something else that's coming up. So she has been doing it from the start. Now, for
Ah.
this album,
Hmm.
when she announced the album, I think it was, I don't know if it was at the VMA or the Grammy, one of those places where she announced it.
Hmm.
She did this signed like a two sign, and everyone thought that she's going to release Reputation as well, like her other album with it, because she did the sign two. Everyone was like, there has to be something related to two, because she
Right,
did two. Like she didn't
right.
like, but she was just saying something and she did to, so it could have just been nothing. But people take everything she does as a sign.
Yes, yes,
And
everything is, yeah.
turns out it was a sign, because at she released this album at midnight,
Hmm.
and at then 2 a.m. she announced that it's going to be a double album. So
Oh,
instead of just 15 songs, I'm gonna give you 31 songs.
right.
So there were signs from the start, and people were decoding it.
Hmm.
Also, she did this thing, the capitalization thing. She
Hmm.
did it in Apple Music this time.
Hmm.
So every day, a song lyrics from her like previous songs
Hmm.
before 1 week before the release of the album,
Hmm.
random song from random album would have some capitalization,
Hmm.
and you would put it together and you would get a word.
Hmm.
With that, every day people were on a hunt to find a new
Right.
word on Apple
Oh
Music.
my
And
God.
after getting all these words, you
Hmm.
form a sentence, and that's when the album comes out to. And the sentence was, because it's sort of like a breakup album,
Hmm.
in a way, because
Hmm.
she had a really tough time going
Hmm.
through few breakups and stuff. So
Hmm.
it says, "We hereby conduct this postmortem." It's
Hmm.
spelled out to that, and you had to find a word every day and you had to piece it all together to know. So this was just for this album, and was one of the things. She also did a Spotify thing in LA, I
Hmm.
think, where they put out a Spotify library for her album, and
Okay.
there were pieces, and a lot of times she hints something in this album,
Hmm.
like 3 years back she would have hinted something, because she sort of planned things and she puts Easter eggs in them, so you have to find it. Like most of her music videos are like Easter eggs
Hmm.
coded, so
Oh yeah,
every
yeah,
time.
yeah, I've heard of this as well. Yes, all the I've seen multiple like music video breakdowns where they will go through it and sort of explain, hey, what's
Yes,
going on, what the theory is.
which is, I think, which is something so cool, because people don't do that anymore. I remember in my film studies classes, like they wouldn't let us watch a movie or a scene.
Hmm.
Every 2 seconds, they would pause and ask us like, "What did you see here? What did
Yeah,
you notice here?" And
yeah.
that's what you need to do with Taylor
Yes, you
Swift's
have to
music
analyze
videos.
it. Like you have to
Yes,
analyze it because my whole journey into this began because there is this filmmaker that I follow. He's on YouTube called Patrick Willems. He makes all of these like yeah breakdown videos, film analyses, video essays, like explaining different like stories, history behind some yada, yada whatever you get it. And he made an entire video about how Taylor Swift is the next auteur. An auteur in like cinema is like a sort of director who has his own way of making a movie, and he's an auteur. So, should I go in? Do you want to go into history of cinema quickly and come back?
yes,
Okay, cool. So, auteur. Back in the day when filmmaking was coming up in the 20s, in the 30s, there was something called as the studio system. Okay, so movies the way we see it today, oh, director, right? Oh, Sanjay Leela Bansali movie, he's a director, it's his vision. Back in the day when I started, it was just a business. So a director was just another employee. The stars were like the big honchos, and the producers were the big bosses. So they were in control of the script, who will be hired, and who's going to be the director. It's all the producers thing. They're the head honcho, the studios. Okay, so that was what the system was, which means like any place for creative freedom was not really okay, because if the big boss says no, you can't do it. These are expensive equipment, new equipment, someone has a monopoly over it, that sort of situation. So that time, a bunch of these French directors, this Jean-Luc Godard and all of these guys, Francois Truffaut, Jean-Luc Godard, and all of these guys used to run a magazine called Cahiers du Cinéma in France. And they would analyze movies coming from the West and other cinema developing in Europe and everything. And they were like your critics, like the way they would write about cinema, foreign cinema history and all of these things. And they termed this thing called auteur cinema. And they would recognize some directors like Orson Welles or Alfred Hitchcock, who have all been like auteurs, which means they, despite all of this, they would put their vision, they would make their mark. People will recognize that it's a Hitchcock movie and not a WB Studios movie or not a Warner's movie. So like they make a name for themselves, which today is very common because everyone like associates the vision with the director. But once upon a time, it was not. So they were called auteurs, which have slowly started to blur and fade away because everyone's a new filmmaker, everyone has a space and everything. Only like the big people like Denis Villeneuve and all of these guys who even today can make certain things that no one else can make, but they can make it because it's Denis Villeneuve. Christopher Nolan makes a movie with all of his absurd ideas because someone lets him. Why? Because he's Christopher Nolan. He's the author, right? Like the big, he made a name for themselves types. And those have been reducing over time in the cinema landscape. And there was this whole breakdown about how Taylor Swift is like the new definition of what an auteur is, because she's taking her art to the place where it's not just about the music anymore. It's everything that is associated with her in the public eye. It becomes a part of her work in like another way. Like music is just one level of it, and she has all these other things going on, and her entire life is sort of like this performance for her fans to break down. And it was fascinating. I'm like, oh my god, I need to get into Taylor Swift. What is this world that I'm missing out on?
Yeah,
That was my rant. You can continue.
no, I'm thinking about it, like, because she did like people will give up stuff just to listen to her music. I know so many people who would take the day off
Mm,
just so that they can listen to the new album that's come
mm,
out.
mm,
I took the day off in a way. Don't
mm.
tell anyone. Well, I couldn't focus on work because I was so focused on the album.
Right.
And that's some power. Like when, time where the like attention, getting someone's attention is power,
Legit.
holding someone's
Legit.
attention for
Legit.
so long is very powerful.
It's no, that's why a lot of stand-up comedians and all these guys, like the fact that you can make someone sit in a chair for like an hour or hour and a half amongst all these people and listen to you and laugh at you is great power. That is amazing. And artists as well who can like not just sell out albums and like digital versions and have like a million and millions of streams and then go out to sell like hundreds and hundreds of shows throughout the year, filled with like thousands and thousands of people. That is insane to even imagine.
I'm wondering if she's gonna play her new album at the shows in Europe.
Are you going? Wait, isn't it in November or something?
No, that's US again, I think, in
Okay.
November, and Canada.
uh,
I'm going next month.
Wait, next one. Oh yeah, there's the tickets that you bought, right?
I haven't booked stuff. It's
Mm,
expensive. I have to book train ticket because I don't want to fly down. So it's gonna be a long train
mm,
journey because it's in
mm,
Stockholm. So I have to take a train from Rotterdam to Amsterdam,
mm.
Amsterdam to Duisburg, Duisburg to Hamburg, Hamburg to Copenhagen, Copenhagen to Stockholm.
That is quite the journey you'll have to do.
I will take gaps, but still, I don't want to fly. Like, doesn't seem very sustainable, especially
Mhm.
with everyone flying to see her.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little crowded and
It's
just not
gonna,
very convenient.
it's actually cheaper to fly and
Oh,
saves
then
my
why don't
time
you just?
too.
I thought it's gonna be more expensive. Just fly.
No, it's
Can't you go like a day earlier and figure out something? No.
I'll see. I have anyway, I'm going a bit earlier so I can
Hmm.
see other places on the way.
Hmm.
Maybe we'll see. I have to book stuff, but maybe she plays her new album too. So I have 31 songs to learn in less than 30 days.
Ooh,
Uh,
less than
but
30
it's
days.
interesting. I think she has a lot of power. I just feel like sometimes, which a lot of I read, like a lot of people were upset with this album because they think like she's not talking about things that are important. I understand, like, as an artist, you should convey what you feel is your art and not be pressured by what's happening around in the world. But
Hmm.
if you have so much power, then you can use it
Hmm.
for something. I don't know. There's so much expectation. Suddenly, you're not a person. You become like, because you have power, you need to have that responsibility with it. And
Yeah,
you,
everything it's in that zone where, like, for a lot of people in the public sphere, whatever it may be, actors, directors, with whatever art they're creating, to a certain level, it's like, yeah, I have creative freedom. I can do whatever I want and put out whatever I want. But then there's a subset of people who'll come back to them and they're like, oh my God, you have such a large platform. You got to be responsible. You can't just say whatever you want, which sure makes
yeah,
sense. But at the same
yeah,
time, like,
there are
where
people.
where do you draw that line? Who draws that line? How do you define this when there are so many players at stake? So what even is creative freedom if, like, you can't do certain things? So, like, what is this line? Because the line seems to be shifting constantly, right? That's why
Yeah,
sometimes, oh, things that were okay in the 90s are not okay all of a sudden because the line has shifted. That's it. That's the only difference. Okay, it is going to be the
I,
same from now to any other time in the future as well.
well, but I have a counter argument.
Okay, okay, okay.
Because I feel like, yes, the line shifts, but the line also shifts with in terms of like creative freedom and stuff. The line does shift, but it shifts on the basis of you getting more woke, like people getting more woke. They
Hmm,
read up stuff, they understand more things.
hmm,
So things
hmm,
that were okay maybe in the 80s and the 90s are not okay
hmm,
now
hmm,
because we know that the impact it has.
hmm.
Like, for
Yes.
example, like movies like Animal doing
Hmm,
really well.
hmm,
Yes, creative freedom's okay and stuff,
hmm,
but you still have, like, I don't know, like, you need to, like, I don't know, like, it didn't feel right.
hmm,
Not because I did, like, I'm not, I didn't want to be one of the people who doesn't watch a movie and criticizes it. I
hmm,
did watch the movie on fast
hmm,
forward mostly because I could not
hmm,
watch it.
hmm,
Um, it just, it made me feel like if people are paying to go watch this,
hmm,
especially in a country like India, it's so easy to get influenced by movies. Isn't the
hmm,
whole thing in India is to, like, you get so influenced by what you watch.
hmm, hmm. But there's
I
also this. Yes, you get influenced, but I don't know who said it. Was it Shah Rukh Khan or like someone who said it? And they were like, you know what? The biggest impact the movies will ever have is it'll change the way people dress and what they talk about, and nothing beyond that. Okay, which to a large degree, I can say, yeah, sure, makes sense. People do get influenced by movies, but very rarely does their behavior change because of it. If anything, something that was in there is getting reaffirmed because
Yes,
how they want to see. It's all about how you view a certain thing, right?
but it
And
normalizes a lot of things, doesn't it? Like, of course, that's why they make movies on a lot of issues to normalize them.
hmm,
But it
hmm,
also ends up like it becomes sort of a double-edged sword where it will normalize the bad things too, I feel.
hmm,
Uh, like, I don't know, th- like the movies in a 70s or like 80s, 90s or
Mm,
early 2000 normalized eve teasing so much that it was
mm,
not
mm, mm,
that it was
mm,
okay because you did
mm,
learn it from the movies. And I
mm.
know the movies are a reflection of the society, and it's so I know
It's
I
it
understand
keeps
all that.
it's eventually like it's going up and down, up and down, up and down, and eventually it'll balance out. But like we're in this up and down phase, so this is gonna keep happening a lot. But,
Yeah, but it's just I don't know, like
hmm,
mm,
I
it
mean,
makes me sad the
it
way.
see it is the way you think about it is that you honestly can't like you have to blame the way these things evolve in a certain way because every culture creates its culture. This is a thing. It always somehow happens in a society where it is we're this socially mobile, and it is what was I trying to say? Yeah, I'm trying to piece together words. Culture, counterculture. Yeah. So in society where people have enough time to invest in anything outside of my own life, so they have enough food, they have shelter, they have a job, they can like live comfortably. All your problems are apart from these, like, so everything else matters to you. So the creation of cultures and countercultures is very common. This is why you'll see when someone like really starts supporting a movie, suddenly there'll be like small vocal group like, it's not that great also, bro. It'll be there. It'll come. Okay, like, it's funny, whatever. It's not that great also. It'll just happen. Okay. And eventually these two things, sometimes it's harmless clash, they go away, but sometimes this clash keeps rising, and that is when social movements start. And you go, hey, what do you mean you can't say this? And the argument changes, the nuance goes away, everything becomes abstract. It gets to the point where, oh, you're against this, oh, you're against this, and then that becomes a narrative. And the core issue is never solved because you built up all of these like different branch arguments that you combined into one umbrella term, right? This is toxic, this is not toxic, and you associate a bunch of things with it. So there might sometimes it is true, and you that conversation should be had, but sometimes during that conversation the nuance is lost and no one wins. Like nobody wins, it just gets worse because everything is divided. No one's trying to understand the other side and just come to a peaceful resolution. Well, that's the end of my rant. I don't know. I don't even know if that made sense. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. I guess for audiences, I think everyone needs to have their own moral compass of
Yes.
what's okay to you and what's not.
Yes.
And our call's about to end. So we
Yeah.
start do
Well,
another
on that
episode.
chair, great note, we will end the recording, and I guess it's gonna take some 8 minutes to send the next link. So we'll say bye. Say bye.
Bye.